listening to the Scoop Slam Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Scoop Slam Podcast. We are back for the first show of 2025. It's been a whirlwind to get here. It's still not a good week, honestly. It's snowing in Alabama, so you know what they say. The world is crazy right now, but we're here. We're trying to get started this year, and hopefully we're going to have a good year. We're putting our best foot forward. But before we get too far into anything, we got a whole week of wrestling to talk about. Lots to get to. As always, on the other end of the call, the co-host of the Scoop Slam Podcast, it's Ryan.
Yo, Micah, hell has frozen over because we are back scooping, slamming. Like you said, first time in 2025, and couldn't be a better time to start our Scoop Slam journey. And I'm just ready to get into it, man.
Yeah, I mean, what else are we going to do? We just talked about it off air. There's nowhere to go. There's 6 to 7 inches of snow at my place, or there was yesterday after some of it melted today.
Yeah, no better time to catch up on wrestling.
Yeah, I think this is the most it's ever snowed here in my lifetime.
Supposedly in New Orleans, it was the most snow in like 150 years. So, yeah, man, it's a lot of snow, man. A lot of snow.
Yeah. If it ain't snowing, I ain't going. Well, anyways,
All right.
like I said, we've had a lot going on the past couple weeks. I had some sickness in the family. You had some sickness in the family. Work, all that stuff. So we haven't really been able to catch up on a lot, but a lot has happened. We live streamed the first Raw on Netflix, so there really wasn't anything for us to talk about from there. Would have been kind of beating a dead horse. We missed Penta's debut last week. We were going to get here, but we didn't get to it. But this week, we've got everything. We got Dynamite, we got SmackDown, we got Raw, and we're trying to get on a new schedule, so hopefully the episodes for you guys will come out on Wednesdays now. So our new slate of, or order of talking about things is going to be Dynamite, SmackDown, Raw. We're going to try and record on Tuesdays, get it out to you guys on Wednesdays. So that's what you can expect. So first up on the slate this week, we're going to have Dynamite. But before we get into anything, before we get too far in anything, the first champ contender cut of 2025, Ryan. What you got for me?
Yeah, Micah, I got a little TNA flavor for you this week. I got champ contender cut. Who you got, Micah? Kurt Angle, Sting, Jeff Hardy. Who you got?
Wow. So specifically TNA, right?
TNA versions of all these guys, yes.
That's tough because we've already talked about, I think, in one of the champ contender cuts about Immortal Jeff Hardy, one of my favorite runs of Jeff of all time. But there is a lot to unpack there. For as many good things as you have with Jeff and TNA, you got bad things.
He's one of the cornerstones of TNA, though. He made them he made them number 2 legitimately in that early to mid 2000s run that he had. Him and Angle, I would say, are 2 of the cornerstones of that era.
And same with Jeff that you have with Kurt, where it's like there was a lot of good. There was also some bad personal stuff going on at the time. Sting pretty much never had any trouble in TNA. The booking may have not always been the best.
He's an icon.
Yeah, and like I think the most memories that I have is of Sting and TNA. I think that's probably for a lot of people. Other than WCW, I mean, I don't. But this newer generation of fans, I feel like TNA Sting is what you think of whenever you think of Sting. So for me, I've got to go champ Kurt Angle just because of the legitimacy that he put into TNA whenever he left WWE and went there. Constantly on top, constantly in the mix of things, had great matches, literally every like 3 months you'll see Perk Angle highlights shared around, and all that's from TNA. Contender, I gotta go Sting, just because
Wow.
Sting was such a plug and play kind of player in TNA where wherever you needed him, he could go. You got Main Event Mafia, you've got Joker Sting. Like, even with the whole Jeff thing happen, who'd they put the belt on? They put it right on Sting. So if you needed a top guy to carry your company, Sting was there. If you needed him in the mid card or in a big feud that didn't necessarily involve the world title, Sting was your guy. And it pains me to say this because I love him and I loved his TNA run because I honestly saw more of that than I did his stuff in WWE. I gotta cut Jeff.
That's crazy. That's great. I would never expect that. But you think you would have had a different opinion if Jeff didn't have his demons?
Maybe, but I don't know. It's hard because Sting
He was
was
the icon.
such a
Legend.
yeah. I mean, he was a legend already, and his run was complete there. Like, he was there from pretty much the beginning to the end. By the end, I mean like when they kind of lost TV.
Yeah, I'm about to say they're still going, pal.
Well, yeah, but they're just now on the upswing from what, like 10 years of just
You cannot
surviving.
kill TNA. TNA may outlive WWE. I don't know. They are the cockroaches of the wrestling industry. Doesn't matter what ownership, doesn't matter what TV they have, they're gonna find a way to rebuild and to still be running shows, man. Come hell or high water, TNA's gonna be running shows. You see, they announced Full Sail. They're going to Full Sail coming up.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they just put almost 5,000 people into that arena in I think it was like Arlington. They put more people in that building than AEW did last time they were there, and
Good
ROH
Lord.
did last time they were there, which isn't saying much. ROH stinks, but still, TNA had a sold out show, bro, in 2025. 5,000 people for Dolph Ziggler versus Joe Hendry.
Whoa. Don't disparage the good name of Dolph Ziggler. Or Nick Nemeth to you, sir.
The wanted man. You think he's
Yeah.
going to be a wanted man for the Royal Rumble?
I could see it, especially with the whole new WWE TNA partnership that we really hadn't talked about, because that also kind of happened while we were gone. But
we should have talked about that.
I think a lot of people are saying that, oh, it's a bad thing for TNA to do this. Like, partnerships with WWE never work out. Well, they're drawing bigger gates than WWE. And like, some of that is definitely like TNA has done a lot to rebuild their image and their booking and all that good stuff. But it's also because of how hot WWE is. You know what they say, rising tides lifts all ships. So WWE's hot, TNA's going to be hot.
It's good for NXT too. You got places where you can send I don't know, the tier 2 superstars. You don't want to send Obafemi there, but you can send, I don't know, Isla Dame or who else is over there? Like Tony D'Angelo. You can send him over there. But and you can get guys like Jeff Hardy, get Matt Hardy. You can get a Joe Hendry for a cameo for NXT. You can do that.
Yeah, I've already seen pictures online where they had is it Axiom and what's the other guy's name?
Oh, Nathan Fraser.
Yeah, those two and Jeff Hardy and Matt took a pic together, so like they're already kind of building to something there.
There's a lot of people that are saying they're the best tag team in the world right now. I don't know about that, but
the Hardys?
No. Nathan Fraser and Axiom. A lot of people comparing them to Paul London, Brian Kendrick.
If I'm being honest, I ain't seen it.
They just look like they fresh off AEW television. Bro, they're small. They do a lot of high spots. Do a lot of flippy doos. I mean, they're fine, but I don't know about best tag team. What tag teams do we have to pick from? Maybe they are the best tag team, actually.
I mean, you got
Private
Motor
Party.
City Machine Guns.
Young Bucks.
Oh, God.
FTR.
Get out.
The Outrunners.
The Hurt Syndicate.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, I
Okay.
like Bobby and Shelton. I don't know, like, who genuinely would you say is the best tag team in the world right now?
If I had to pick, I think I left it vacant when we were picking Goopies.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Katana Chance and the other girl, Kaden Carter.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
that's an answer of all time.
Yeah.
What? Matter
Bianca
of fact,
and
yeah, Bianca and Jade. Okay, okay.
there you go. Why didn't we pick them? I forgot about them.
Because they're never on TV.
Okay, well they're getting the Scoopies right here.
Yeah.
Tag team
Matter
deal.
of fact, close down the voting. Scoopy's in January, and we ain't even got to record the rest of the year.
We're getting off topic, Micah. One thing before we move on. Who do you think? Because we're gonna have a TNA cameo in the room. Who would you pick for that TNA cameo? You putting Joe Hendry in there? You putting a Jeff Hardy in there? Who you going with?
You get only one?
You only get one. Only get one.
I'd go Jeff, just for the pop. Maybe that's biased too, but the pop of Jeff coming out at the Rumble when nobody expects it, that would be huge.
See, I'd go with Joe Hendry. I think that would get a huge pop too.
Has the aura has it died down on him though? The popularity.
I think they almost missed the boat. He's not as popular as he was, but he'll get a huge reaction if he comes out in Indianapolis.
I feel like we get both because,
Wow.
and this is a thing I kind of will segue into the final thing we'll talk about, which is Raw, but we experienced it firsthand. But the past couple of years, Triple H don't really bring back a whole lot of legends. Like maybe one, but I think last year we didn't get any surprises. So I think,
Dang. Oh, we got somebody, didn't we?
I don't think so. We got Truth in the Women's Rumble, and like Women's Rumble gets surprises.
Yeah, we did get through. That was great though.
I popped. And Truth went for the tag in the Rumble, but
We got Jordan Grace. That was in the women's. Yeah, you might be right. No, we got Andrade.
that's right. Okay. Yeah, there was one. But see, that's what I don't think Triple H is keen on bringing in legends. I think he more debuts people or brings in people from TNA, and that's the surprises we get. But I still think it's only going to be limited to maybe like 3.
So Jeff, Joe Hendry, and the ones that man, Dolph Ziggler. Huh?
No, the debuting Josh Alexander.
Oh man, his gear bothers me. He needs to get different gear. I don't like that.
Well, that's what WWE's for, pal.
He has like a singlet, but it's a weird singlet, and he has like headgear. I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the headgear. The singlet's fine. Headgear, you can ditch it. But speaking of ditching things, we are going to move on to the next segment, which is the reviewing portion of our show. AEW Dynamite last week,
God.
which was January 15th.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, big show for you. You were a big fan of this.
Oh yeah, loved it.
Let's start off with what they started off with. The first match of the night was Kenny Omega versus Brian Cage, which is Kenny's first match on AEW television in over a year. Big Kenny Omega fans we are here on the show.
How long was he out? 14 months, 15 months?
Something like that. I think he went out around like October maybe, because I want to say it was before Full Gear. That's when they were starting that whole Jericho Omega thing, and then nothing ever happened with it.
Remember when Cody Rhodes came back from the torn pec and he wrestled Sheamus on a random Raw? You remember that? Why? Bro, come on, man. This is one of your top guys, one of your pillars of your company, and his first match back is against a job guy on a random Dynamite.
I do agree. I agree with you to an extent. I think that Kenny needs to be on TV, because as much as I may or may not be a fan of him all the time, the people that like AEW love Kenny Omega and they react to him, and the people like him. Like, he's a bigger star for them than most other people are by far. And their highest quarter hour of this show was for this match.
But wouldn't you think to promote it on a pay-per-view, his first match back against, I don't know, the guy that threw those intestines on the birthday cake during Kenny Omega's birthday segment? Do you remember that? What was that, Jack Perry? Remember
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that happened. Why wouldn't you were building to something and then it got dropped? Where's Jack Perry?
I don't know. He lost to Danny Garcia, and now he's on the back of milk cartons.
So why would they go back to this Don Callis feud?
I don't know. And I'm honestly sick of it. And
No. Go ahead.
I was going to say, they just had their World's End pay-per-view. They could have easily had him on that show. Because a week later, he's in New Japan on a pay-per-view doing a show for them. So that tells you where his priorities lie.
They did have him on that show. He confronted Okada, and then that got there's no follow-up to that.
No, but I'm saying they could have had him wrestle on that show. Like, they could have brought him back in December and built to his return at World's End, like you're saying, and then get him on TV to start the new year. But instead, he goes off to New Japan and has a 30-minute match that people raved about. But, I mean, I don't imagine if AJ Styles comes back, right, to WWE after being hurt for a while. And, like, his injury has not been nearly as documented as Kenny's, and we'll get to how much they document that. But imagine if his first match back was in TNA, and then he came back to WWE. That don't even make sense.
No, it don't make sense. But that's what they did. That's what they did.
Yeah. And, I mean, the match was fine. The one gripe I have, did you count how many times they said diverticulitis? Because I did.
It was a lot.
Dude, I really didn't even notice it that much. Hannah was in the room with me whenever we were watching it, and she was like, are they going to mention diverticulitis like one more time? Or did they not hammer that point home enough? And then I started counting, and it was 3 times. They alluded to it 5 times after I started counting. So I know they mentioned it before that. And it's like, dude, I get it. I know you're trying to sell that point. He's back from this just brutal injury, and I understand it's a big thing. But holy God, there is no reason to say the word diverticulitis 8 times on commentary.
I just don't understand why this match had to happen. Why is this feud happening? Who cares about the Don Callis family at this point? They don't win.
They just want him and Will Ospreay to team up again.
Why? Why do we need that?
I don't know, because now Will means less, because he has kind of been just moved from here to there over and over again, like really not doing anything. Like he was in the upper echelon of mid-card, but now, he's still a star for them, but he's fighting with Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita, who I like. They just hadn't built Takeshita like that. Brian Cage, Lance Archer, these guys are not main event stars yet.
And it doesn't, the match with Omega and Cage, one more thing, we can probably move on. It didn't need to go 20 plus minutes.
I agree with that.
Couldn't he just had an 8-minute showcase? Whatever happened to those? Do we not do those anymore?
Well, we'll get to a 10-minute showcase on Raw that I think is the perfect way to bring in a new person.
I guess, but no, we got to have a 15-minute back and forth finisher kick-out fest with somebody that hasn't won a singles match on TV in 2 years, Brian Cage.
In all honesty, I didn't think it was horrible. I thought it was a good opener, and I think it's a good idea to get Kenny on your TV. I just have a sour taste in my mouth about the fact that he would go to New Japan first.
Yeah, it's a good way to ice one of your top guys. Way to bring them in and just make them just another. just another one of the guys. That's what you did here. Is there gonna be any less hype or any more hype for Kenny Omega's first match back on pay-per-view? Not really, because I mean you just saw him wrestle on the weekly Dynamite show that hardly anybody showed up to.
Yeah, well, it was packed. It was a small venue, but it was packed.
I don't know. It looked like there was social distancing in the upper decks there.
Still following, man. You can never be too safe.
Oh, it was like 1,500 people in the building.
Well, we'll move on to the next match I want to talk about. And really, nothing major of point here. Hurt Syndicate versus Mark Briscoe and Private Party, which is MVP's first match in like 2.5 years, which I thought was really good. I thought MVP had a good showing, and I think that they need some title gold soon because they have been one of the only interesting things on AEW television in a while. And I saw on TikTok, I wish I could take credit for it. So it had all the entrances with like the Hurt Syndicate and Private Party, and you know that TikTok audio from Last Chance U, where it's like, you are freaking African Americans and Mark, and I was like, dude, this is perfect audio for this match.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, man, I like Mark Briscoe and the Hurt Syndicate. Like you said, they're stars when they come out. It just feels like a different program when they're on TV. I don't know why they're muddling around mid-card tag team BS when they should be going after the Death Riders, but man, they are one of the bright spots of AEW television. And if you didn't watch AEW from this week, skip ahead about 5 minutes. All right. I do think it's a good idea that they put the tag titles on the Hurt Business.
Yeah. And we'll dive more into that next week, like you said, but I think they should also have a very dominant reign with the titles. Like, let them hold it for a year. Let Bobby go get a mid-card title on top of it. Like, let these guys be dominant.
I was just about to say, Bobby needs to be like, you remember when Kurt Angle had the New Japan title and the TNA World title, and the X Division title? You remember when he had all those belts? Mm-hmm. They should just have Lashley do all that. I wouldn't even mind. I don't care if Lashley's 50 years old. It looks like $1 million. And the Hurt Business, they feel like stars on this TV show, man.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's because they are like physique bigger than people or if their names are bigger than people, but like they
don't do none of the comedy stuff. That's probably, it helps too.
100%. And they got a good mouthpiece. Like Shelton and Bobby don't have to say anything, and that's perfect. And that's half of the problem in AEW is a lot of guys want to do their own stuff and they can't. But MVP, the whole thing, it works, and very much so. I think they have a bright future as long as they just keep doing what they're doing with them and don't mix them with goofs.
Do you think, speaking of mixing them with goofs, do you think they add a fourth member, or is that it?
I wouldn't hate it because I thought maybe Shelton and one other person should be tag champs and then Bobby be a singles champion. But at this point, if they're already tag champs, I mean, if Bobby goes singles gold, I don't really see the need for another person. Maybe a flunky, but like, who do you really add?
See, I was hoping they were going to go with Leo Rush to play off Bobby and Leo Rush and Bobby's past. Because remember, Leo Rush was a mouthpiece for Bobby before MVP got to WWE. Yeah. And they had a pretty good act together. Which I thought that's what they were building to, because Shelton and Leo had some matches, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. It was actually a really good match.
Yeah.
Where's Leo? I wouldn't hate that, because Leo can take bumps, and then you don't have to see Bobby and Shelton.
Where's he at?
Yeah.
Is he still employed, or?
I think he's teaming with Action Andretti. So, a real big step down for him there.
Like, can you imagine being Leo? He's probably thinking, "Oh man, I'm joining the Hurt Business next week, probably." And then he shows up to the building, and he's with Action Andretti and the flight attendant girl, and I don't know. It's the Top Flight. I think they're with him too.
Yeah. Hey, pal. No. I think I want to be in the hurt business. Best we can do is action and ready.
Yeah. How you like being a flight attendant?
Well, we'll move on.
That's good stuff, pal.
Yeah, a lot of the booking is Vince approved over in AEW. And we'll get to this next segment that I would think is perfect, right up Vince's alley. MJF and Jeff Jarrett in the ring.
Oh. Hey, man. I cannot wait to hear what you're going to say about this segment.
So, oh, man. First off, why are we having this obvious promo battle set up like they used to do with like Punk and MJF and like Eddie Kingston and Punk, or like MJF and like Cody, like for people that can really cut promos, we're having this for MJF and hold on, let me check my notes. Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Just a powerhouse on the microphone, Micah. Jeff Jarrett. You remember his slogan, his catchphrase in WCW? Slap nuts. Remember how that got over?
That was over.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw tag of it. Now I'm off again on a train. Did I send you that tweet that said that they need to name the Trump, if he doesn't want illegal immigrants coming over, it should just name the Mexican border wall Vince Russo, and then no one will get over. Crack me up. But I feel like I had to mention that with Jeff Jarrett and slap nuts. But yeah, noted linguist Jeff Jarrett on the mic, and I like Jeff Jarrett, man. I'm down with this feud, honestly, more than you are.
Hold on, pal. Jeff Jarrett said that he was the MJF before MJF was MJF. Are you buying that? When did that ever happen?
No.
No, he was not.
Because I wrote it down. I was like, when did Jeff Jarrett ever cut a promo half the caliber of MJF?
I just remember Jeff Jarrett being the laughing stock of the internet wrestling community my whole entire life. And before I even knew about the internet wrestling community, I remember watching a documentary on the rise and fall of WCW. And when they got to the Jeff Jarrett segment, when they talked about the dying days of WCW, everyone was burying Jeff Jarrett, bro. The one line that stood out, and I forget who said it, but he just said he broke 1,000 guitars, he being Jeff Jarrett, and he never drew a dime. But apparently he was MJF before MJF was a thing, Mike.
Well, when you talk about drawing power, and I don't know, you look at them crowds, you might be right.
Oh man, well, no, MJF said he had Wembley. He sold out Wembley. That's what he said.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Mid JF, bro. I'm so sick of MJF, man.
That was my other note.
Okay, go ahead.
This shtick that MJF is on. Sorry, my dog is very excited. If you can hear her tail swagging on the table. She's excited to hear me cut down MJF. The shtick is so tired. Like, it's just, I come out, I'm better than you. I've got to yell about something. I call somebody a skank. I call somebody fat. You insult me, and then I'm really going to cut you down.
No, you got to put the WWE reference in there, too.
That too.
Got to have one. Got to have an insider reference.
And I really wanted to hold out and be like, nah, man, MJF is still good. Like, I was a believer way longer than a lot of people were. They were like, look, man, it's getting old. Like, this is lame. And I was like, nah, like, it's still... And then, like, it's still going. I don't find a reason to care about him. I don't find a reason to believe in him. I don't find a reason to care about the zingers, because it's like, it's the same thing with everybody.
So when he feuds with the Cope, you think he's going to bring up Matt Hardy and Lita? I'm sure he will.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's just his, yeah, man. Like you said, it's his shtick. That's what he does. You outlined all his promos to the T. And one of the worst things that is not really getting talked about in this segment, which a lot of the AEW basement dwellers buried this segment too, so it's not just us picking on AEW, is the fact that, first of all, it went on too long.
Yep.
And the second thing is, did you believe anything Jeff Jarrett was saying? Like, just didn't even sound like, did somebody write this for you, Jeff? Why would you mention MJF's mom and his girlfriend? This isn't Jeff Jarrett. Who wrote this for him?
Yeah, I don't.
He
And
didn't
that's
even
what
sound convinced.
he didn't sound convinced, and it sounded like I don't know how to explain it. It sounded like one of the old heads at work, like trying to clap back, and it's like, and like nobody laughs. Like you got to give him a pity laugh. And he was like, "Oh yeah, your mom's a call girl,"
And he said that about his girlfriend too.
yeah.
So while you were going 60 minutes with Will Ospreay, your old lady was going 60 minutes in the parking lot with about 10 dudes. Like, what? What are you talking? Jeff, aren't you supposed to be the baby face here? What kind of baby face says that?
What kind of company mentions girls having sex in the back and then segues to a Chris Jericho segment where you segue to a segment of a guy who has allegations of sexual harassment in the back? Like, I don't think I would be bringing that up.
Well, and you didn't even mention Michael. That's slut shaming. I mean, the AEW basement dwellers. I mean, surely they can't get behind slut shaming like that, right?
Yeah, bro, it's 2025, man. Polyamorous relationships are in, pal.
I don't know, man. This just, they try to replicate CM Punk and MJF, and Jeff Jarrett, God bless him, he throws a heck of a punch, but he is no CM Punk.
No. And that's what, it didn't make sense. It went on way too long. It felt like Jeff got lost. And we're really not even mentioning the big talking point out of this, which was bringing up Jeff Jarrett riding the coattails of a man who died 25 years ago, who you have a tournament honoring the name and foundation of. Did they run that by Martha? Because if they didn't, I know I'd be pissed. Like, what really did that matter? It didn't, it just got like a, it wasn't like like, you didn't really get him?
Yeah, it did. It felt like it was in very poor taste, and just what mid JF does, man. He goes for the low hanging fruit. You see him wearing that blue blazer, Micah. That's great heel work.
Oh God, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, that's what the basement was saying. That's just great heel work, pal.
And another thing, the only zinger that I actually got a kick out of that MJF said was the fact that Jeff Jarrett is the last thing you see before your company dies. And the irony of that statement,
Well, yeah.
while they're in an arena of 15,000 people while he's in the ring with one of their biggest stars, it's just hilarious.
And you know what? That's not even true. I mean, TNA's still kicking, like we said earlier.
Yeah.
WWE's fine. So is he just referring to WCW?
Well, I don't know. Well, I mean, you think about it, late 90s WWE when Jeff Jarrett was there. Not like the slap nuts, short hair Jeff Jarrett, but like the country singer Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, it was kind of going down the tank. Then you put him in WCW, kind of going down the tank.
No, he showed up in later WWE in 98, 99.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Remember, he was putting ladies in figure 4 leg locks. That was pretty entertaining.
That's the best work Jeff Jarrett's ever done.
You know what? That might be.
No, I mean, I like Jeff, and I didn't hate him as much as everybody did in TNA because I was a kid and I wasn't like, oh my god, he's squashing everybody.
Do
But
you, do you like the performer of Jeff Jarrett or do you like the person Jeff Jarrett? Because there's a difference.
I think I like the person Jeff
Okay,
Jarrett.
there you go. I don't think I've ever said. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, or I have said, "Hey, yo, put on that Jeff Jarrett match." I've
Yeah,
never. Have you? Has anybody ever gave you that information, Micah, that Jeff Jarrett is their favorite wrestler? I've never heard that.
no, like I kid you not. Anytime somebody sees him now that like I'm in the periphery of, it's more like, oh, isn't that guy like he used to be on WCW and he was like hitting people with guitars and like Beetlejuice. Like that's what they remember about Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, just not a good time. But we'll segue to SmackDown. Unless you had anything else you wanted to get into on Dynamite, but I really don't think you want to.
No, no, I don't. And I love Dean Ambrose, but John Moxley is the drizzling. You know what?
I wanted to watch it for Hobbs, but oh my god. Also, you could see MJF spray tan dripping off his forehead. I just wanted to mention that because I forgot to say that in my notes.
Mid JF.
And again, I hate to be that guy. Let me say, well, this kind of pertains to the segue. It is a good thing AEW is running smaller venues. Like, it's better to have 15,000 or 1,500 in a 2,000 seat arena than it is to have 5,000 in a 20,000 seat arena.
It still sounds quiet. They need to do something about that.
It does. But it is such a stark contrast whenever I watch Dynamite and I go to turn on Raw and they do that freaking drone shot and it's like, oh my god. Like,
yeah.
I'm not even trying to glaze. It just makes me sad, like genuinely, because the fall from grace happens so fast. And it's the same thing as WCW. It's death by a million cuts.
Yeah. Yeah. Bro, you can just trace it back to the CM Punk grape bomb that he had while he was eating those muffins. That's where the documentary is gonna start. The rise and fall of AEW can be traced back to that moment.
And they're still around. I don't mean it as they're going to die, but it is a very,
and we do not want them to die, but the creative is a big, big problem. And
oh yeah.
Bro, if we did not have a podcast, I would not be watching AEW at all.
No. Like for the Hurt Syndicate I want to see. Other than that,
I would just catch clips.
Yeah. But speaking of something that I have been catching clips for, SmackDown on Friday night is oh god.
Hey bro, we did luck out though because apparently they are going back 2 hours. And
thank God.
And did you see that? In like June or July they're going back 2 hours?
No, I didn't see that, but I was thinking it because holy crap. Like, I ain't gonna lie, dude. 3 hours of anything is a long time, but Raw is like 2.5. I get it. Like I can pretty much focus on that. They got some stars. They got people I'm interested in. SmackDown is so uninteresting, and there is no reason for that show to be 3 hours. And I have not watched a single like full SmackDown since. I just catch clips half the time.
Yeah, bro, it's just half the time is unwatchable.
Yeah.
You maybe get two things that you're interested in, and you'll get a Bloodline segment sprinkled in here and there to keep you locked in, or at least somewhat locked in. And then the rest of the show is the 3-star General Cody and parade of uninteresting mid cards like Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. I don't know, man. It's just SmackDown stinks, man.
Makes me sad, man. I've always been a fan of the blue brand, but ooh.
Yeah.
But we'll move to the only segment on SmackDown we had, which was Bloodline segment, as per usual. Solo Sikoa was in the ring with Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga and got completely booed out of the building. Tried to speak multiple times. The heat was too much. And Solo just left. But then that gave us a gym. You know what they say, Ryan? One man's trash is another man's treasure. And Jacob Fatu cut the promo of his life on SmackDown. And he really didn't even say that much if you go back and listen to it twice. But you
believed it.
It's everything. Everything about the character, man. The eyes, the work that he does, like with his face, and just looking at that man, like you are genuinely terrified.
You believed everything he said, though. The fire and the passion he had in his promo. I'm gonna say something, man, and you probably gonna look at me like I'm crazy, but I think he has a higher ceiling than Reigns.
You said he has a higher ceiling than Roman?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Let me walk you through it though. The first 10 years of Roman's run, not even 10 years, maybe the first 8 years was what? Big dog Roman Reigns. He wasn't the guy. And then when he got the keys to be the guy, he was booed out of the building and fans tuned out in droves. Okay?
Yeah.
Roman Reigns really didn't come into his own until the Tribal Chief run. And that was 2021. So 4 years, Roman's been doing great stuff. But Roman is part-time at this point. So we never got a truly great Roman Reigns full-time run, did we?
Maybe like. So obviously you've been a little further in it than I have. When he came back originally, like to start this bloodline stuff off, was he full-time then, or was it kind of just immediately part-time?
It was pandemic, so we didn't. He was here for a couple weeks and then he'd be gone. Because Roman had leukemia, so he really wasn't full-time. I mean, he was more full-time than he is now, but still though, that was during the pandemic era. So you had a lot of guys that weren't doing week-to-week shows.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, Roman was hamstrung. I'm not saying it's Roman's fault. Roman was hamstrung by Vince's booking, which fell off a cliff during that mid 2010s run. And that was when Roman had the keys to the kingdom. Bro,
Yeah.
do you remember? I don't know if you ever watched those clips of Cena burying Roman on mic when they had that little feud. And Roman just looked neutered, and he just looked like a beaten down dog. He couldn't say anything back to Cena because everything Cena was saying was true.
The line, the reason I'm still here is because you can't do my job.
Yeah, he said that, bro, and Roman didn't have a response because it was true. Roman could never fill Cena's shoes at that point. Not that iteration of Roman Reigns. Not that version of Roman Reigns. That ain't the Tribal Chief. That's Big Dog Roman Reigns with the blue contacts and the suffering succotash and the shield vest. That's not the Tribal Chief that we throw our ones in the air that me and you drove 4 hours to see on a random SmackDown. That's not the Roman Reigns that we got now. So I think this Jacob Fatu, I think he has a higher ceiling than Roman Reigns. I really do.
I see it both ways because it depends how far they go with him. Because like for Roman, like it's not just I think Jacob has the personality 100%. The charisma, he's definitely got as much as Roman. And it's funny you brought this up because I literally wrote down, I think Jacob may rival Roman right now as the best promo in the bloodline.
Yeah, I'm saying he has such a fiery promo, way different than what Roman does. And Roman was never great on the microphone. Not to say that Roman is not a good talker, he is, but he was never a generational type promo that maybe a Cena was or a Ryan was. He wasn't a guy like that. I think Jacob Fatu is right now on Roman Reigns' level. And this is just, I don't think Jacob Fatu he went in his early 30s. Just imagine how good he can be. He's way ahead of Roman was at this age.
Yeah.
And his in-ring ability, I love Roman, bro. But how many great Roman matches have you seen over the last 10 years?
It's just aura.
Exactly. He doesn't need to have 5-star classics, but I think Jacob Fatu is better in ring than Roman Reigns, and that shouldn't be a controversial thing to say. It's just
That's not ridiculous. That's not
yeah.
ridiculous to say that.
So I'm saying, man, this shouldn't be a controversial take. But I know I'm gonna get flamed if we make clips of this, but I think Jacob Fatu has a higher ceiling than Roman Reigns does.
The only thing, and I'm with you because you kind of convinced me. I ain't gonna lie, but it is the physique. Like, and I'm not saying like, oh, he's a fat guy. Like, I'm not saying that.
Bro, come on, man.
No, just listen. When you think about like the WrestleMania headliner, and you think like Roman and Brock, Roman and Cody, Roman and Rock, Roman and Cena, like all these guys, like he just has that look. Like he's the guy. Does Jacob have the look of like the guy, like the number one company carrying guy? I don't know. Number one heel? Sure.
Okay, let me hit you with this. Do you remember Rocky Maivia? Do you remember the baby fat Rocky Maivia had, and that little that surgery Rock had in the late '90s to trim down a little bit with the pectorals, and Rock got in phenomenal shape? Oh, who's to say Jacob Fatu can't be like that? I mean, he's still pretty young.
No, I agree, and I honestly don't think Jacob needs to lose any weight because I think it adds to the persona. But that would be the only thing. Like, I don't know that right now I can buy him as the company carrying guy, but other than that, 100%. He's already better in the ring. He's already better on the mic, or as good as on the mic. Maybe not better. So really, the only thing would be like, can you picture him as the number one guy? If you can, then you got me.
Okay, one more thing, and then we can move on. If Cody Rhodes is what, 40 years old? He's the face of the company, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next face of the company is, I mean, it's up for grabs, man. I mean, Cody ain't gonna be wrestling for 10 more years, is he? He's not gonna be number one guy throughout that whole time. So I do think that next guy is, I mean, it's up for grabs. And Jacob Fatu is he's in just as good he's in as good as an opportunity as Braun Breaker is to be number one guy. Who else they got that's under 30 years old, Micah? That's in a great position to be number. I think Theory, maybe he could pull the sword from the stone. Okay, Oba. But I think Jacob Fatu is in a higher position in the card than all those guys, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, well, I mean, not to say that it couldn't happen. I mean, it could happen, right?
It's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. And you kind of convinced me. I do think maybe he has a higher ceiling. And I am going to make clips out of that, and we'll see if you get flamed.
Okay, well, take out me stuttering. Take that out.
Yeah, I always doctor it up, right?
All right, appreciate that.
But anyways, great promo from Jacob. I'm excited for the future because the Bloodline stuff has stagnated, and you know how it is. We're fixing to heat up, Rumble, Mania, all that stuff. I'm very excited to see the future of Jacob Fatu. And they have done everything right since the minute he stepped in the door. And speaking of another person that they have done everything right with since he stepped in the door, let's move to Monday Night Raw from this past Monday night. And we missed the debut. We got a second match right here. We'll start it off with that. Penta versus Pete Dunne.
Which?
This reminded me of that match that Ilya had with, oh man, who was it?
Ricochet.
That it was two guys that like maybe it's a little bit of a clash of styles, but you're like morbidly intrigued on how it's going to work. And I thought this match was really good. I don't think it was as good as the Chad Gable one, just because it was like day one. What are we going to see? But still, Penta looks like a beast in there. He looks like a completely different person than he did in AEW.
I know, he looks so motivated too. He looks like a different person.
Yeah. And like they're limiting his errors, which is something that AEW didn't do. Like, I remember, and I'm sure people could pull this up from the podcast we've talked about multiple times. Like, I don't want to see the Lucha Bros. I don't really care to see them.
Yeah.
But WWE has made me interested in Penta because it's like they negate all the like, here's, go out there for 25 minutes and do every single thing you can do in the world. And instead it's like, it's slower. It's not balls to the wall the entire time. And like I mentioned earlier when we were talking about Kenny and Brian Cage, this match was 10 minutes. It's not supposed to be 20 for a guy like Pete Dunne. Penta's new. You need to make him look good.
They give him a star treatment, bro. You see that pyro they gave him? That little sprinkler type thing?
Made me think of Sid Vicious.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that. The music kind of generic, but you can't have it all, I guess. If you're not Samoan, you can't have a banger entrance.
I'm about to say, at this point, who does have good music that hadn't already been established before?
They go all out for Joshi's and the Samoans. They got good themes, but that's it.
Yeah.
Because EO Sky got some good music.
She does, weirdly enough, because you wouldn't think, like... And I always was like, I don't know, that really fits her, but now I'm, like, locked in.
Oh, shout out Shinsuke, too. They gave him some good themes.
Yeah. I just, I don't really know... Like, for Penta, and I know we're waiting on his brother to get here...
Oh, God, do we have to?
Do you think it's going to devolve into the former AEW stuff when he gets here?
Yeah, bro. I just think he has more potential by himself than he does in a. I think he can be an IC champion. He can be a US champion. But if you bring his brother in and you put him together, then he just get pigeonholed and tag team, bro. It's gonna be cool at first, but then they're just nobody can book tag team. Let's just get that out the way. WWE's not doing a great job booking tag teams. AEW's doing an even worse job booking tag teams. And I just don't want to see it, man. I don't want to see the Lucha Brothers reunited. Now, if you want to bring his brother in and make him a singles act, I think they need new guys. He could probably be competing for the championship over there, but bro, just let Penta do what he's doing. It's getting over, and it has been a very, very long time where we actually have somebody that can maybe be that next breakout Mexican superstar that they've been searching high and low for, and Penta can be that, man.
He really does have the people. I mean, for the first match too, but it's always, it's the first one. Is it going to carry over? But they were going crazy for him in this match. Like when he did the suicide dive, the people get up for him. And I didn't watch a ton of Lucha Underground, but correct me if I'm wrong, he was mainly a singles act there, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, all the way through. Beast too. Bro, he was stone cold over there in the temple. Oh man, Penta was my guy. He had one of the best storylines in Lucha Underground history, him and Vampiro. And man, he was just booked to be a world beater over there, breaking arms and super kicking ladies. He didn't care, man. I love that Penta.
So I think that's what they could continue in WWE, and they've already put that on track.
You want to super kick ladies?
No, maybe not that part. But this
now. He has wrestled EO Sky and Chelsea Green. Maybe he can get some payback.
Yeah. Hey, Rhea needs an opponent.
No, that's Dom is going to be her opponent.
Oh, well, okay. Well, hold on now. What about Dom? What about Rhea and Penta versus Dom and Liv?
No, God, we're going to continue. Liv.
Okay, let me cook up another female, and then we'll females wrestler.
Maybe Raquel.
I don't know. I want to see that either.
Okay. Jordan Grace.
Okay, I'm interested.
Apparently, she's at the Performance Center. So,
well, anyways, I think they've done a great job with Penta. I do agree with you. I think the singles act is the best way to go. Like the masks are selling good and all that stuff. Like people like him. People want a new luchador to cheer for. And I thought Santos was going to be a big deal a couple years ago. And then you talked about that SmackDown we went to earlier. Dude, just nobody cared when he came out. And
They still don't care.
No.
They still don't care, man.
So the people care for Penta. I think you strike while the iron's hot and keep, milking that cow. We'll see what they do in the future, though. We'll move on to, speaking of Dom and Rhea and Liv and that whole...
Ilk.
Yeah. The Judgment Day and Dom were in the back with Chad Gable, who is trying to master the dark arts of Lucha Libre. And Dom slid him a name that he could find out about such. Ryan, who are they talking about here?
A lot of people saying Malachi, man. I think maybe it's Santos Escobar, but can you imagine if it is Malachi? Can you imagine how angry Phoenix would be if Malachi showed up?
I mean, he already posted a picture of him in a straitjacket. Who knows what he might post a picture of himself in next?
Well, he might pull up to the building with ready to with a
Tommy
piece.
Dreamer.
Big Pop.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even think about that until people said something about it on Twitter that like his dojo was called like Dark Arts or whatever. So I don't think that's what it is. I think it's Santos or like Dragon Lee or so. Well, Dragon Lee's babyface, so that would make sense.
What happened to
him? I don't
him?
know. I think he's on speed.
Okay. All right.
Saying somebody on speed in this context and any other context is just two completely different things.
Is he the champ over there? Who's the champ?
I think it's Andrade.
Oh, okay, still.
I think so.
Right. I think Chris
isn't
Sabin
isn't there a female speed champion as well?
Yeah. I think you're right. I don't know who it is, but I think you're right.
Oh, hopefully never mind, you're right. The current champion is Dragon Lee.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
He beat Andrade for it.
All right. So just put all the luchadors there.
Well, that would be racist, Ryan.
Oh, okay. Would you rather put them on Rampage? Oh, no, they don't have that.
Yeah.
They don't have that anymore. Never mind.
Well, where will the black talent go now that Tony Khan doesn't have Rampage to ship them all off to?
The black and the luchadors.
Yeah.
They all ended up on Rampage.
Now it's just Collision.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we'll move to the man, the myth, the legend, live and in living color. CM Punk came out to a balcony area that
heroes welcome.
somehow worked. Like, I don't know. Everything the dude touches is gold. What's that TikTok I sent you where it's like, the stuff people be saying about LeBron sounds like glaze, but it's really just facts. And that's how I feel about Punk. Like,
he's on fire.
It was a great shot because, I mean, it's 15,000 behind him, and they're going crazy and chanting his name, and they follow every word.
You know, it reminded me of those 80s promo segments where they used to have interview segments like right there beside the crowd. Maybe it was green screen, but still, they used to have like promo segments with their back turned to the audience. They used to have stuff like that.
Yeah. I wrote down that same thing, which I think is funny. Because it's such a great shot. You get to see everybody. And like, I like in-ring promos, but golly, like what a shot. And to have all those people going crazy just for him, just for the glimpse of him on the balcony. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. And he cut a great promo, cut down everybody, mentioned everyone that's going to be in the Rumble, had a knock at Cena, a knock at Hogan. Like, it didn't matter. He was just slinging bullets.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of. I don't know if you ever seen that Rock promo, like right before I think it was the 2002 Rumble, where he grabbed the camera and he was asking everybody, who do you think's gonna win the Rumble? Everybody's saying they're gonna win the Rumble. Do you think this jabroni's gonna win the Rumble? Like he was just cutting down everybody. It kind of reminded me of that,
It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I think I remember the promo you're talking about. And so much of it is on par with like Punk as a character. Like he doesn't care about anybody else. Like he's in this for himself. I really don't know who the favorite is to win this right now.
Are we getting into this, or because I mean, there's a few options we can go with.
I mean, I think Cena might be the odds-on bet.
No, please, no.
I mean, I'm not saying that's who I want to win, but I'm saying like I feel like that's the. If I had to put money on it, that's who I would put the money on.
But all the momentum, all the fire, all the gasoline is behind CM Punk right now, bro. He's been red hot lately, coming off that Hell in a Cell match and coming off that really, really good Monday Night Raw match with Seth Rollins, and him cutting promos, fired up promos week in and week out. And I don't know, man. I think you strike when the iron's hot. I think you go with CM Punk.
I mean, I wouldn't hate that at all because, what I said 5 minutes ago. But I agree. But it would be the most comical, CM Punk life if he does all the legwork and Cena comes back and wins the Rumble.
Oh God. I hope not, man. But yeah, I think the odds are odds makers are picking Cena at the moment.
And then Roman's also there.
Oh yeah, you got Roman. But I don't see them going with Roman and Cody for years in a row.
Yeah, I hope not.
I mean, oh my God, I seen this floated around, so I can't take credit for it. But what if? Now this is us putting on, our booking hats. What if John Cena is number 30? He cleans house. Crowd is elated, Micah, going wild. All of a sudden, you see another countdown clock. And you're wondering, well, who the heck is this? We already had 30 wrestlers. Cena's music has been hit and the bell's rung. Who could this be? All of a sudden, the final boss comes out. The final boss comes out and chucks Cena over the top rope. What do you think, man? He can do what he wants. He's on the board. He can do what he wants.
That's not the problem that bothers me. I don't know that I want The Rock to win it. I think the same with Roman, he don't need the Rumble to get there.
Final boss, man. Final boss versus Cody. You don't want to see that.
I would be fine seeing that. That's not the problem.
It would put heat on the final boss.
Yeah, but
how would you? Because people are cheering The Rock at this moment, man. How would you put heat back on The Rock? You have to get him doing something dastardly. What other way to get The Rock booed than to eliminate Cena?
But then everybody back Cena and Rock again, because I don't want to see that.
No, Cena continues on his woe is me pity tour, and he goes into Elimination Chamber and tries to win that, doesn't win that. Bro, I don't think Cena needs a title shot this week. So it's not going to be catastrophic if he doesn't go to Mania and face Gunther or Cody Rhodes for the world title. But the crowd is going to want to see him do that. So what better way to put heat on the final boss than to have him eliminate the biggest baby face they have right now, John Cena?
It could work. I'm not saying it wouldn't work. I don't know. Maybe in execution, I would like it better.
Come on, man. Final boss can do whatever he wants. It's on the board. You remember how entertaining it was last year?
But he put a bad taste in my mouth whenever he was on Raw on Netflix shilling.
Okay, but did you watch NXT the next night? Of course, you didn't watch NXT the next night. Nobody did. But if you did watch NXT the next night, you would know that Rock showed up. Rock said, "Enjoy the ride the Rock is taking you on." So I do think we are going to get a resolution to this, and Rock will be working WrestleMania. We just don't know if it's against Roman or if it's against Cody.
I think the Cena match is going to be Cena and Logan Paul. I don't think they're going to do Cena Cody.
I hope not.
No.
I don't want to see that.
Two baby faces in the main event of Mania, like unless it's like Rock and Austin, I don't think it's going to work.
That seems like more of a SummerSlam match to me. I don't want that for WrestleMania.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on to the final talking point from Raw. No, not the final boss. Drew McIntyre versus Seth in a WrestleMania rematch in the main event of Raw.
It was fine.
You told me to watch it.
Yeah, I know. It was. I wanted to watch it for the end. It was a fine match. Seth Rollins match. You should know what to expect here. You're gonna get superplex up the top rope into a Falcon Arrow, maybe a miss Phoenix splash, some knee selling, dancing around like a jabroni. You know, the Seth Rollins special, man. You know what to expect.
Yeah, I
People
do.
sing this song.
I saw a clip from when he won the NXT championship. I was like, bro, what happened? Like,
Blonde Streak.
Are his knees really that bad? Because, like, it just, I don't know, man. He ain't got it no more. He's boring to me. I say that.
Hey. Yeah, I think he's been overexposed.
Yeah.
Crazy because I feel like he just came back.
He did.
Okay. We just don't like Seth Rollins.
No, like, I mean, I respect him, but I'm much more interested in seeing Drew, and that's kind of what bothered me here, because I wanted Drew to win, because Drew never wins, which I understand that's the story they're telling.
You can't. Triple H hate heels, bro. I swear
yes.
Heels me.
And I don't know. It just, that kind of irked me and put me off about it. Now, I know the big thing at the end is Sammy comes out, helps Seth, inadvertently hurt Seth, and they're building, obviously, this is the time of year where they put all the main event guys and, like, have them in one big cohesive storyline, sort of, for Rumble, to make them all hate and love each other, which is great. I think they're doing a good job with that. Just...
Did you see Karrion Kross lurking in the background of Seth's backstage segment?
I did not.
Karrion Kross, man, that people feud with Karrion Kross and then they turn heel. It's been a recurring thing throughout this whole year. And I know we're not huge fans of Karrion Kross, but yeah, bro, he's been doing some decent work on Raw so far. And he got the New Day to turn heel. Before that, he got the Miz to turn heel. So I think we're gonna get a repeat and have Seth Rollins turn heel. He's gonna get in Seth Rollins' head, and maybe get a Seth Sammy mini feud going into Royal Rumble or coming out of Royal Rumble. I can see that. And maybe Seth snaps and Seth takes his anger out on CM Punk, or that's probably the only match he can go with for WrestleMania, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know that I want to see that again for Mania.
Hey, you're over it already.
I mean, I think the problem is, and we'll close the show up with this, I think they've really booked themselves in a corner in terms of heels and or making heels, because this is a good thing about heels, is they tell the truth. But how many, like, guys do you have that have been baby faces for years, scorned by the bloodline, and have now turned as, like, truth-telling heels? You got KO, you got Sammy, or not Sammy, but, like, if he were to turn, that would be the angle. Drew is already doing that. So if you turn Seth, is he going to be doing the same thing? Like,
well, he'll probably go back to feuding with CM Punk, bro. I mean, they still got a built-in storyline, and I'm sure they can get some good to decent matches out of it, and we can get some great promo back and forths going into WrestleMania. And that will probably be for the World Championship, so we'll get a CM Punk main event WrestleMania.
But how do you get the title off Gunther?
Bro, you know what? Are we doing Saturday night's main event predictions, or are we just gonna close the show up?
I was just gonna close the show up because
Okay.
I looked at the card and I'm not particularly interested in it.
Hey, bro, do you think Jey Uso takes the title off Gunther? Because I can see that.
I don't know. I was originally gonna review that segment. It's so weird because Jay doesn't win anything. Like,
this could be a transitional title run, though. Like
yeah,
the IC champion.
it just, I don't know. That and Jay is so odd because it's like Gunther tells the truth about him, and that's what he did. He was like, "You don't win the big one. You say you're gonna do all this, and you never do." And then like Jay, basically his retort or like his comeback is nothing. Like he's just like yeet. Like that's it. Like Gunther could literally be like, "You were smoking crack backstage, Jay," and he would be like, "Yeah, I smoke a little crack." Yeet, and all the fans would like say it with him, like they don't care, they just love Jay, and I don't understand it.
Hey man, he's a great performer, and the in ring stuff is not to my standards, but it works. The crowd loves him, and I can see him taking the title off Gunther. And we still have Elimination Chamber, so you're gonna have 5 other guys facing off for the World Championship, or 6 other guys. You got 6 people in the Elimination Chamber, so we could theoretically have Jay win the title at Saturday night's main event, and then he could lose the title in Elimination Chamber, maybe like a Seth Rollins or something like that. You could do that, right?
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I think you could also do the same thing with Gunther, where it's like the odds are stacked against him and he loses. Like maybe if Sammy's in it and Sammy pins him, you know, you're not adding anybody to his somebody pinned him list. And then maybe you segue that into Gunther Sammy rematch at Mania. Gunther goes over. I don't know. It's all just kind of spitballing here. I just don't know.
We still got Goldberg looming.
Oh God.
I'm being serious, bro. That's rumored to be his last match against Gunther. So what if Bill Goldberg cost him the title at Elimination Chamber? Cost Gunther, I mean. I know it's 2025, bro, but this is a real question.
I think people would. I think the people in the arena would pop. I think the online outrage would be ungodly.
What? But you would be getting. They would. I mean, it's not like they're putting the title on Goldberg. Do you want to see Goldberg against Gunther for the title?
No,
I don't. Yeah. So why not him just cost Gunther the title to put some gasoline on the feud that they're gonna have? Bro, it's not the worst thing that Goldberg has been announced for the Atlanta Raw coming up next week.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard that, but he's gonna be in Atlanta next week on Raw, Netflix. Big angle, I'm sure. Gonna be shot.
I don't know. There's worse they could do.
Go with, bro. This is so unpredictable this year going into Mania.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're going.
I don't either. Because last year it was like, okay, well, we're for sure getting like Cody Roman or Rock and Roman, and we got one of those.
We're getting Jay and Jimmy, and we're getting, we didn't know where Gunther was going, particularly because Brock's status was still in the air, but you pretty much knew where this was going. The bloodline stuff was going to be what it was going to be. But this year, I don't know where they're going with any of the title matches.
No, like it's so up in the air. You could throw all the names in a hat and pull them out and make a card, and it'd be like, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, there's so many directions they can go in. so much stuff that I'm hyped for too.
So it's an interesting time. We're glad to be back in 2025, and the Rumble is in like 2 weeks, so things are really heating up. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to check out our socials. The link is in the bio, like always, or link in the description, like always. Obviously, Instagram, Twitter, or X, TikTok. We'll see how long it stays up. Make sure you follow us on all that stuff so you know when we're scooping and slamming next. Thank you guys for listening. Take care of yourself. Have a good one.